The very first one was, of course, when she was very young, first year in kindergarten after an educational pre-K experience. And it was fairly simple and straightforward, and a lot of it was directed at motor skills and speech issues, as well as basic, beginning along that basic learning track. But I would not say it was a difficult thing. It was all things that we knew she needed to work on. And I would say just in that early IEP process, what we saw was a lot of very slow progress. Some of the goals we saw, of course, hold on for years and years, her trying to say her SHs and CHs and differentiate between those two. And, you know, by the time we got to high school, we said that's as close as we're going to get. And, but I mean, that was what we did. We just, every year we sat down at the beginning and laid out the goals of where we were educationally wise and what we hoped to accomplish within those curriculums, and also within her speech and physical therapy. She just attended and observed. And she was a part of all of those. I think there were maybe one or two that she missed based on scheduling issues. And those would have been late in high school, I think. But she just sat there as an observer. They were very open to suggestions from me.
Which may have been unique in our case. I don't know.
May have been. I know a lot of people have, but always the goals were, they laid them out, we looked at them together, and then if I saw anything in them that I didn't think was along the right track or felt like we had accomplished or was too aggressive to set before the next IEP, then we made all those changes. So they very much listened to, I think, what we thought.
If they didn't have that consistency, that would have been a pretty big deal, because it would have been, I guess, Pam was participating in a lot more of them than I did, but it was as if the teacher was the newest component in the whole conversation, right? And so it wasn't like, I could see that if those roles were turning over repeatedly, it could be very difficult. Like, you're catching everybody up. It takes half a year to do that before you even get after it.
And I felt like that within the school system, the teachers were always, and the administration was always very good to be thinking about Teachers for Allie the next year.
Oh, yeah.
It was never like a potluck assignment. They chose teachers and they put kids in her class that knew that they would be a good support for her. So I think it was all very well thought out, at least in our school system.
Very intentional.
And I also think, too, based on your own child's progress, sometimes parents see the goals for their children a little differently, or want a situation a little bit differently. And I think a lot of times the parents are driving for something that may not fit the children as well. So in that case, that would give those parents a very bad experience through probably any school system. But I don't know. I think it just depends on the abilities of your child and your outlook on their abilities, and many things like that.